am speaking on visioning and a roadmap to a strategic roadmap to success. Number one, what do you see? What I'd like you to see right now is an overflowing cup. The cup may appear, depending on how you look at it, some will say half full, some will say half empty. But I'd like you to see with a heart of abundance and a mentality of abundance, an overflowing cup. That cup you saw contains everything that is required for you to live abundantly and fulfill your purpose. So I have 3 objectives. The first objective is to enlarge your picture of the future. Some will call that a vision. Vision is a C word. Number 2, I want you to have 3 to 4 action points that you will work on. Don't be a professional conference attender. S.M.I.L.E is about transformation. S.M.I.L.E is not about attendance and being present at every training opportunity. Thirdly, you will need to develop that action plan. And I want to encourage you that you will commit an hour every week looking at that singular sheet. If you do it very effectively, you should have a page full of actions that you are going to take in the next 60 to 90 days, suggestions of a roadmap by which you can get to that future that you are looking at. So now, 3 questions. 3 questions will guard this exercise. Number 1 is for us to ask ourselves, where exactly do I want to go? Secondly, where am I now? What do I need to get there? So those 3 questions, very critical. Now, the first thing you want to quickly look at is what exactly is your offer? What is the offer? What is that product? What is that service? So what is the skills, that you have to offer, or the expertise or the experience that you have, or that you want actually to use to shape the future? Number 2, what problems is it that those who consume your service, what problems do they want to solve? Where I define customer as anybody who receives your service, whether they are paying for it or not. You might have a good offer, but without understanding the people that you're offering it to, then there will be a mismatch, and then you are going to struggle. But if your the product or service matches that which they want to solve, what is it you want to offer? What skills do you have? What do they want? What are those people wanting that you want to use those skills for? So you need to look at that, all right? So what are those problems that you want to solve? And how exactly do you want to do that? So who are your core targets? It's very, very critical that you narrow your focus, particularly at the beginning. That's why S.M.I.L.E's focus is underserved youth, not every youth. Underserved youth. Provide leadership and mentoring, particularly to underserved youth. So who do you want to target? Who is it that will receive that service? And what exactly are the best way? We're going to be using the 5 P's. The first P will be the receivers, your publics. Who are those people? Who should be your core target? What are the best things you need to do? Is to ask yourself, what is the product or service that I want to offer or that I'm already offering? And who is the customer or client? I want you to put specific people, specific groups of people that you're serving, or if already you have an initiative, who exactly are the people that are your customers or your clients? What's our definition of customer? Anyone who receives your service. For those of us who already have initiatives, the next thing then you want to quickly ask yourself, Who are your key customers? Put names or groups or sectors to what you are doing. Who exactly are your key customers right now or your potential customers? And what exactly is it that they expect from you? Are you serving households? Are you serving corporations? What exactly is it that they would be expecting from you? Now, if you already have that going, how will they rate you? Another group of publics that you require are your internal stakeholders. Who exactly are your key stakeholders? What exactly do they want from you? This may be internal or they may be external. Government can be a stakeholder for you. Regulators can be a stakeholder for you. So who exactly are your key stakeholders? Who are they? What will they expect from you? And in what way will you serve these people in a unique manner? So start from the key stakeholders. Of course, if you need the regulators, for every effort to succeed, you cannot do it alone. One of the things usually that is very critical is to identify that the values that you represent. So what are the three most important values that you want everyone associated with that initiative to have? Values or standards of behavior. So if you see a person from S.M.I.L.E, I hope you are noticing there are certain values that they are communicating. Every one of them that says, I'm a product of S.M.I.L.E. There are certain values. Those values are inherently built into every program that S.M.I.L.E organizes. The second P is place. So you're serving, but where do you provide that service? That is often the difference between success and failure. This same rigor that we are going through, you will have to go through it to refine the vision, to enhance the vision, and to enhance your services. So see this as a necessary exercise for you. So where do you provide that service? Where do you want to provide that service? Is it a virtual service? For example, you are a virtual assistant, isn't it? There are certain channels that you will use to provide that service. So where is it? Is it going to be in a physical place? Is it going to be in a geographical location? Whatever channel you are using right now, are there other channels that you are not yet using? So let's say you do more face-to-face activities. So I want to put down 3 other channels that you could be using to reach your customers that you are not using right now. All of this is going to help you to actually capture what the vision should be. When you know your product, you know who you're serving, you know where you're serving them, you know what price, you charge for serving them. At the end of the day, you can write a simple statement: I am so, I serve so, with so, at so. Very, very simple. It's a very simple way to actually be able to put down your vision. The next P is the price. One of the key things about even social entrepreneurship is that organization or that initiative needs to be sustainable. Sometimes to be sustainable, you might charge a level of price for whatever you are doing. You might need to. So you want to ask yourself, do you offer that? And at what price do you want to do that? And that sometimes is a function of your positioning, how you position yourself to serve the people that you want to serve. There are some people who can pay maybe a premium for what you are selling or what you're providing. There are some who cannot. Now, even when they can't, it doesn't mean you can't charge. You can charge and get people to sponsor. That's again where strategic partnership comes in. The way you charge might be in terms of sponsorship or partnership. So is there a price? And that price, people understand value by the price that you charge. What is the service? What is the current price? What is the revenue that you are getting from that? Now, at times, your revenue cannot help you sustain the initiative. And that's what's going to speak to what your next courses of action will be. So maybe you have initiatives that are peaked. You are just wondering what needs to be done. If you're charging, what is the total revenue for the year? Now, does that revenue match the needs of that initiative to keep on providing the service? If it doesn't, then you're going to be looking at strategies, isn't it? Maybe you will raise funds, maybe you look for partners, or whatever that will be. I want you to set yourself a 3-year target. What do you project your annual revenue should be, or the annual inflow or fund? How much will that initiative need to fund its services for the next 3 years? So that becomes your target in terms of how you then restructure all the things that you are doing. So do you have a surplus right now? Do you have a deficit? And what do you want the state to be in the next 3 years? The next P is promotion. What does your brand stand for? What does your organization stand for? Even if it's your career, what is the personal brand that you want to communicate to every employer that is looking for your service, or to every employer, every person in your organization who you provide services for? I hope you know that the person who you report to is actually your customer, the one to whom you provide what? Service. So if you're providing him or her service, understand that if you don't understand that customer, promotion is going to be very, very difficult. You will just be complaining every year. But the truth is, you really just don't understand who you serve, how they want to be served, how they measure your value that they put upon you. And so all of that you need to put into planning in terms of improvement. So what does that brand stand for? I'm using S.M.I.L.E as an example. What does S.M.I.L.E stand for? There are certain things that comes into mind when you think of that organization. And I'm looking more in terms of what is the promise that you are making to the consumers of your service. And thirdly, around that, how are you communicating that promise and that value that you bring? Except those consumers of your service can appreciate the value, they will not partake. So, sometimes you will talk about your value proposition. So, what exactly is the value that you bring? What is the value that you want to give or to those people who receive your service? And how are you communicating that? Without you communicating that effectively, there will be a gap in the take-up of your services. You might have the best service in the whole world, but you might struggle. Why? Because the people that you're offering service to are not getting the appropriate communication. So one key action that you're taking away from that, how might I improve communication to the people that I serve? Every service that you provide, there will be external influencers of that service. So we want to assess what are those things that can externally affect what we are doing. And some of you are familiar with that acronym, PESTLE. So you want to look at yourself and say, well, this initiative, politically, a simple change of the law can defeat everything that you are doing. A simple one. Just one change of the law. One policy can defeat everything. So look at that and plan. It's not to stop you, it's to help you to plan. The second is economic. Number 3 is what are the socio-cultural norms. The fourth one is technology. Then the legal and the environmental. So look at all of it very well. Legal will ask you what form even of organization do you want to have. It can get to that extent. Do you want to set up, an NGO, or is it going to be incorporated, or is it just going to be partnership, or what exactly should it be? The last one will be environmental. So when you look at everything around your environment, how might this help or come against that? Now, something that is very, very critical that you can also do is to analyze your strengths, your weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. In every crisis, there are opportunities. So, whatever the situation is, there will be opportunities. There will be certain favorable situations for you, whether it's in the market, whether it's in the region, whether it's in terms of, all the things we are talking about. Maybe it's politically, maybe policy even just favors what you are doing. Maybe there's funding for the kinds of things that you are doing. So those are opportunities. Of course, there will be threats. Now, what do you do? What you want to do is look at what strengths do you have, whether in terms of skills, whether in terms of experience, whether in terms of, the organization that you have built. 4 critical strategies that I want you to look at. Number 1 will be your strength opportunity strategies. How do I match my strength to the opportunity that I see? Then the weakness opportunity strategies. How do I overcome the weaknesses? So if you are a career-oriented person and there is a skills gap, what is required is that you quickly find a way to meet that gap. You have done all of this that we have spoken about. You have a fair idea of what you need to do. I want you to look at 4 critical areas that you must focus on for that vision to be achieved. If you are going to be offering educational services, for example, your curriculum is going to be very critical. What exactly do you want to teach? Do you have a curriculum? Is there a fit between that and the people that you want to serve? All right? So what are those 4 critical areas that I need to focus on to bring change? If it is that you want to improve your career, what are critical areas? It could be skills. Invest in skills. It could be strategic partnerships. Look for strategic partners. Okay? It could be get more education. It could be change the channels. It could be improve the channels. It could be, go from face-to-face to virtual. It could be anything. And if you do that, you now need to ask yourself, what should be the result in 3 years that I want to see in that area? So in the theme, in each pillar, in 3 years, this is what the result we look at. Remember what we started from. My present state, my future state. So I'm saying, in those areas, if it is skills, what is the result that I see now? In 3 years' time, I want to have graduated from, I want to have learned coding skills, isn't it? Or I want to have learned some things about green skills. I want to have learned how to use technology. So those 3 critical areas. And the last thing, basically, that we're looking at will be to look at the people who will help you and how do you get them on board. That is going to be very, very critical. You can never do it alone. It's impossible. When should I reach them? Where should I reach them? How regularly do I need to communicate with them? So what's my call to action? What am I expecting you to do? Number 1, examine your futuristic vision. What is it? Put it down, refine it, craft it from all of the things that we have done. Number 2, what's the current state? Where are you today? Number 3, what's the gap? Is it a skills gap? Is it a funding gap? What exactly is the gap? Things that you require. Number 4, what's the extent of the gap? Why haven't you gotten that degree or that skill? Why? Evaluate the reasons. Oh, it's my daughter. Oh, I've just given birth. Those are excuses. Oh, I don't have money. Those are excuses. And then agree what steps you need to take. 3 horizons that you are looking at. Number 1, short term, within 1 year. Number 2, medium term, between 3 to 5 years. And number 3, long term. I want to thank you all very much for listening.